It was 3 years ago today that Dion Peterson was murdered, and his case remains unsolved. That's why his wife continues to pay for this advertisement on a bus bench right across from the jail.
All these different fire crews on scene here to help, and that is typical in a fire of this magnitude because you are dealing with a hospital.
It is a mad scramble right now to try and halt the layoffs of Cincinnati police officers, and it all depends on whether the police union is willing to make some sacrifices.
How many items do you already have ready to try on, Lauren?
I am so lucky, Liz, that I get to be in here before the crowd start. I'm already pinpointing stuff that I want to buy.
So much money, I can't wrap my brain around it.
I know I can't, but I tell you what, I'm sure I could learn to wrap my brain around it. You know, when the jackpot gets this high to $325 million, it seems that everyone starts playing the lottery. I know I have my ticket. Well, Dave, on June 22nd, 3 small children ages 6 and 7 were right here at this playground. They told police that Hamblin urged them to follow him into the woods. Kit, this really tells the whole story right here. Large trees like this ripped out of the ground. I mean, take a look at this tree trunk. This is several feet in diameter. Of course, the motivation is to save some money, and you can really save a lot of money. If you look under the hood in one of these cars, you could find something like a battery that's only going to cost you $14. If you go to an auto parts store, you're likely to spend $90 to $100. Right behind me, you are looking at Duck Creek Road, but if we just turn around here, you see I-71 North behind me, so you can see how close they are to each other. You can see here a red curtain in the window that has served almost like a flag representing the gang. Police have taken down similar curtains before, and they plan on boarding up this house.
He just attacked out of nowhere. I mean, he just clamped onto my ankle and bit me.
And Teresa Bryant has the red and swollen bite marks to prove it.
And I shook him loose, and then I stepped back and kind of was holding on to the house, and he jumped again. I mean, jumped literally off the ground and was hanging off of my leg.
The family says the cat hides out in the woods on their property, and he's brazen, walking up the stairs to the Bryant's back deck. He suns himself on their chairs. They say at first he appears friendly, but he's attacked Teresa's 2 little girls. An attack even sent Brian Alls to the hospital with an infection.
About an hour later, it started getting, my foot was swollen, my leg started to swell up, and it was so painful, you know, that I just actually couldn't walk.
Oftentimes, the family wakes up to find the cat laying right in front of their door. For protection, they've started keeping a squirt gun handy to shoot him so he gets out of there.
We don't spend any time out here at all. The children won't play out here. We've not used our deck all summer.
We scanned the woods, hoping to catch a glimpse of this attacked cat. 2 hours passed, and then we caught him lounging nearby. A little whistling brought him out of hiding. He was meowing, almost eager to approach us. He looks friendly enough, but we didn't let him get close enough to really find out. As for the Bryant family, they're hoping he'll take the bait and walk right into this trap set up by the SPCA.
I'm very relieved, and hopefully he'll be in that trap within the next 24 hours.
And the family got its wish. They tell us that they called us a short time ago to let us know the cat is in the trap. Now they're just waiting on the SPCA to come and pick it up. They also told us that when they first spotted the cat several months ago that it was wearing a collar, so they believe it was abandoned, possibly by the previous homeowners. Reporting live tonight in the newsroom, Lauren Bercarich, Local 12.
Good morning, Lauren.
Good morning, and yes, we had heard of a possible firefighter injury on the scene. I can tell you now the good news is he is okay. When he was entering through the back door of the home, I'm told he either tripped and fell or something fell on top of him. A mayday was called via radio. That's what firefighters are trained to do whenever anybody is in trouble. He was pulled out of that building. I'm actually told he's back fighting this fire. Now, when crews arrived on scene, they could see heavy fire coming from the basement, the first and second floors. They knew immediately they had to stay outside and fight this defensively. We could actually see flames coming from the roof of the home. There was very heavy smoke in the area. We could actually see smoke as we were crossing the Western Hills Viaduct. Neighbors telling me this is a vacant home. It's been vacant for a year, and so are homes on either side of this burning house. Firefighters, they are not confirming that right now. They're saying they still have to conduct their investigation, and they do have fire investigators on scene to try and determine the cause of this blaze. Now, I want to take a look back out here live. You can see firefighters still actively fighting this, putting water on that house right now. Although they have the main bulk of the fire under control at this point. There are still hot spots that are flaring up, and that is why they still have all these trucks on scene pouring that water on this fire. But the good news, the bottom line here is all those firefighters okay, no injuries because of this fire. And then John, back to you.
And that one firefighter back at work, that's some dedication.
Yeah, they said it was really a minor injury, but they say anytime you see a firefighter go down, you don't take time to evaluate the situation. You call that Mayday immediately to get him out of the house, and that's what they did. Well, Paula, Zhivago admits to firing a shot into the air. Police say that's when ball players and fans here went running for cover. But Zhivago says the criminal charges are not warranted. He says he was just trying to protect himself from a handful of ball players.
They were just taunting me. And so, you know, I retreated to my door, and I thought a few of them were going to jump the fence and come over.
Steven Zhivago has been fighting this ballpark for 3 years. The bright lights at night, the noise, and first and foremost, the foul balls. But last night, he says taunts from players pushed him to get his gun. He says it was for protection.
That's when I shot around into the air and yelled at them, "Don't come over here." You know, I just want to be left in peace.
But Zhivago says he cannot find peace here. There are too many foul balls hitting his house and his car. Now he has amassed quite a collection.
No, they've done $2,000 worth of damage just so far.
From the edge of Steve Zhivago's yard to the edge of the ballpark, it's about 30 feet. So you could see how it wouldn't be very difficult to get a foul ball in his property. The solution, he says, is simple. Put up a net here. But the battle over the ball field has not been simple. Last night it was very tense. Zhivago admits to firing a warning shot, but says he's no criminal.
No, I do not. I really don't. Because, you know, they can jump over that fence with bats and balls, and these are big guys.
And police tell a different story. They say Zhivago was actually the instigator in this case and that he may have been drunk last night. Now, Zhivago will get a chance to tell his side of the story to a judge. He will be in court June 30th. Paula, back to you. As you've gathered, this is not your typical election. For one thing, you can vote as many times as you want, but it will cost you, and that is $1 a vote. And you can cast your ballot right here at the general store for the next mayor of Rabbit Hash. In the tiny river town of Rabbit Hash, everyday life may be quiet and calm, but the political season is heating up.
I think at last count there were 7 dogs, a cat, and a donkey.
All running for mayor. Yes, you heard right. From a border collie to a St. Bernard. There's Travis the cat. Just scratch him under the chin to get in good. And we can't forget Higgins, the only donkey on the ticket. This is his second race for mayor as a Republican.
Hope he doesn't hear this, but he thinks he's already the mayor.
Is that a Rabbit Hash political scandal?
No, I don't think so. He pretty much stayed to himself up here and didn't really care about what was going on in town, so he acted like a real politician.
We arrived in Rabbit Hash to uncover political infighting and to ask the tough questions. Okay, Travis, everybody wants to know, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. How does a cat compete? I guess Cat's got his tongue, but like every good politician, Travis has a campaign manager to rely on.
They're more afraid of him than he is, than he is of them. That's for sure.
Among the canines, competition is fierce. Border Collie Lucy Liu is running with the slogan, "She's the dog you can count on."
Whenever we have visitors down here, she's out the door like a shot, goes to the cars, greets the people.
But Rabbit Hash veteran Rembrandt is running on experience. He's roamed this town for 8 years and has some big political backers.
You know, although he's the only dog endorsed by John McCain, for president. So, and Obama endorsed him too. So, and prove me wrong.
At the general store, campaigning is the norm with political posters plastered along the entrance, and every day there's a vote tally. But you won't find any hanging chads here. A quick count shows Lucy Liu in the lead.
Well, it's a dog-eat-dog world in Rabbit Hash. What can I say?
And you may be wondering, how does something like this get started? Well, I'm told 8 years ago they were having a more mainstream election with actual humans on the ballot until somebody entered their dog, Goofy. Can you guess who won? Ever since then, this has morphed into a really big fundraiser for the Rabbit Hash Historical Society. It's very important to them, so feel free to vote early and often. Cammie, back to you.
And that's the point. It is a really good cause, because if you hadn't been to Rabbit Hash before, I mean, it's a trip back in time, isn't it, Lauren?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. The people here are having such a good time with this election. It's all in good fun, and like you said, it's for a good cause.
Local 12 News Saturday starts now.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Bercarich. Bob is off today. Thanks for waking up with Local 12 Saturday. And here are the stories we are working on for you this morning. 2 young men die in a car crash in Claremont County. Officials have identified 2 people who died in a nasty car crash last night in Claremont County. Emergency crews were called to the intersection of routes 232 and 233. And meanwhile, officials in Claremont County have been trying to make the roads safer. They've been increasing patrols to try and keep people from speeding. They're also trying to make people aware of the dangers of driving on those country roads. Local 12 reporter Larry Davis has more on this story. Expect a lot of excitement on the University of Cincinnati campus tonight. It is the home opener for the Bearcat football team. Fans are pumped after the team walked all over Rutgers in the first game of the year. Astronauts aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery are experiencing gravity once again after spending 2 weeks at the International Space Station. And this story continues our coverage of America and the world now. Last night's landing was detoured to California due to bad weather in Florida. The Space Shuttle program is set to end next year. NASA is counting on its international partners to supply the $100 billion space station. And once the shuttles are grounded for good, all the astronauts will be hitching a ride with the Russians. Giving up handshaking may be the latest recommendation for fighting the flu. But first, thousands are getting ready right now for Cincinnati's Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. Local 12's Liz Bonas has this story and more in this week's Medical Edge. Hearing from the band is a great way to wake you up. And now it is time to send out greetings to those celebrating a birthday. I love that you bring up the sleeping weather. I love to crack open those windows
I do too.
and just enjoy that. It feels so good.
We haven't had to use the air conditioner that much this year, but when you do, you kind of feel cramped in, and it's just nice to get a little bit of fresh air.
And Duke Energy doesn't get all of my money. I like that too. All right.
I do too.
Thanks, Michelle.
Okay.
Local 12 Sports Director Brad Johansson has the latest high school football highlights and scores in morning sports just ahead. Now, Diana, you said earlier that you were up late helping cooking, and all these women were busy cooking different cultural dishes. I know the food's going to be a big draw. Share that with me. Thank you, Michelle. I just love those kittens. They're so playful. Well, there could be a nuisance in your landscape, and this one could be right under your nose. They can be hard to find, but bagworms can leave plenty of damage behind. Ron Wilson from the Homeworks team shows you how to spot them and how to get rid of them.
Love it when it encompasses the weekend as well.
I know, because there's so much going on. We told you about the Hispanic Festival, told you about that Wild West Festival, and everybody can go out and enjoy themselves. So folks, have a great weekend, and thanks for being with us today.